أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي آمين يا رب العالمين. Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope all of you are doing great. Today inshallah we are going to begin the second lesson of section C, and this would be about a brief overview about the types of sentences that we have in Arabic. Okay, so without further ado, let's get on with it. And this is going to be a fairly smaller lesson, to be very honest, because as I mentioned earlier, this is just a review, but nevertheless it's quite important to know. Okay, so as always, we're going to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for help and to make this task easy for us to teach as well as to understand. So Rabbi Yassir wa la tu'assir wa tamim bil khair, Amir ya rabbil alameen. All right. Okay, so this is the summary of the sentences. As you can see, let me just zoom it up a bit. Okay, great. Types of sentences. Now, they can be broadly classified into two types: the ones that give you some kind of information or simply informative sentences, or the ones that do not give you any kind of information. Okay, of course, the ones that give you information are going to be called jumla khabriya. Khabar means information or news in Arabic. All right, so jumla khabriya and jumla inshaiya. Now, before talking about this category, first let's get done with jumla inshaiya. What are the ones that do not give us any information? So as you can see, there are certain types of these, and we all know about these things. Okay, these are just the fancy words that if you want to remember, go ahead, remember these terminologies. If you don't want to do so because you're not too comfortable with them, it's totally all right. Just understand the concept. That is it. Okay, so first of all, we have our do's and don'ts. All right, run, read, look. All right, so whenever you need to give someone a command of doing something, you of course you're not giving any information, right? So this would fall under the category of jumla inshaiya. Okay, and it's called jumla amriya in Arabic. Okay, next, do not do something. Okay, don't, nahiya. Okay, so don't look, don't drive, don't read, don't study. Okay, which nobody says ever. Okay, anyways, so istifhamia is our next category. It simply means questions. Did you see that? Have you read that book? Do you know, so on and so forth? Okay, so all of these are various questions. Where is my book? So questions, istifhamia. Tamannaya. Now, those who know Urdu know what tamanna is. It means a wish, to express a wish. Okay, so what is a common way of expressing the wish? If only I had, if only I knew how to drive, I would have gone to the market myself, for example. Okay, so tamannaya is that, in which you express some wish. Okay, then you have tarjiyah. Now, these are all the rough explanations, okay, just so that you can form an analogy in your own language or in English, so that you don't have to, mess around with the terminologies too much. You don't have to, as I mentioned earlier, memorize these terminologies at all. Okay, next, tarjiyah. What is this? Perhaps or maybe sentences. Perhaps the book is in my bag, for example, or who's at the door? Perhaps it's my dad. Okay, so this is your tarjiyah. Or did you go, or did you, all these things. So did you go and I don't know, have an ice cream? So yeah, maybe I'll go today. So this is not an information, but the other thing. Okay, non-informative or simply jumla inshaiya. And what under the category of jumla inshaiya? Jumla tarjiyah. Okay, next we have qasmiya. Everybody knows this. An oath. All right. Okay, then next we have nidaya. We have already done this thing in your fragments section. Actually, the reason we did this nidaya over there is because um, if you just take somebody, or if you just call out to somebody and not complete the sentence, it would be left incomplete, wouldn't it? So just saying, hey Zed, okay, and then you just zip up your mouth and you don't say anything, then of course it's going to be left incomplete. That's the reason. Besides, it was a bit easier, so I decided to include it there. But if you complete a sentence, of course, it's the entire thing that forms a sentence. Okay, come here or something. All right, next is your tajubiyah. Tajub. Those who know Urdu, they would be familiar with this word, tajub. Okay, so what is this? To express surprise or the fact that you may be impressed from someone, okay, or something. What a wonderful present, for example. Okay, so this kind of thing, it falls here. Okay, next you have arzia. This is request or wish. Okay, I request you to do something or something. All right, so this is your arzia. Quite easy, isn't it? So these are the ones, jumla inshaya, and we will be covering them, some of them here in this section, in section C, and some of them such as this Amriya and Nahiya one, the commands, do's and don'ts. These are the ones that we are going to inshallah cover in the fail section. Okay, so that's what, and most of them would be most probably covered here in this section. Okay, done with Jumla Inshaya. Now come to Jumla Khabriya. Okay, what is this? Or just zoom it like this. Yeah, this is better. Okay, Jumla Khabriya is further divided into two types, Jumla Ismiya and Jumla Fi'liya. The only thing that you need to remember about this is that if a sentence is going to begin with an ism, then it's going to be called as Jumla Ismiya. Okay, and if a sentence is going to begin with a fail, then that would be called as Jumla Fi'liya. That is it. And then of course you have further tenses in fail. You have past tense, which is called fail madzi in Arabic. Then you have fi'l muzari, and that is your present and future tense combined. Now there are some ways of making a future tense, or you could say that there are certain ways or certain pointers that can tell you if the fi'l muzari is actually representing present tense or future tense. All right, and we will learn that in the fi'l section, inshallah. Okay, our focus in this section is primarily jumla ismiya. Okay, so we're going to form questions with Jumla Ismiya. We're going to learn how to put various kinds of stresses in Jumla Ismiya. Okay, so for example, what is the importance of the harf la when you read the ayah wal asri innal insana lafi khusrin? Now, what is the importance? What is the implication, or what should you feel when you hear that la? Okay, because you don't really need it, but if you want to put stress, and a special kind of stress, then that's when you use la. Okay, so there are quite a number of ways to put stress, to be very honest, and inshallah I'll try to cover all of them, both from a grammatical point of view as well as a linguistic point of view, inshallah. Okay, so these are some of the things that inshallah we're going to cover next. After doing the stresses and all of these istifhamia and all these things, we are going to learn the patterns that is really important for jumla ismi, or for winding up the topic of ism. Okay, so for example, how we get the word masjidun, masjidun, and maktabun. All right, for example. All right, so root word here is kitabun, and here, or kataba, simply root letters, and here it's sin jim dal. How did we get masjid, and how do we know what it means? All right, so just by knowing the meanings of the root letter, you would know if what you have to imply, or what you have to understand by a certain pattern, by its usage in a certain pattern. Okay, so for example, if you have the root letters of N, lam, mim. All right, these are your root letters, and they would form the root word of ilmun. All right, the masdar. Yeah, we'll be covering masdar here too, inshallah. Some of them. Okay. A masdar is simply the name of an action. Okay. Ilmun. Now, how did we get, or okay, not just yet. If you see or if you come across a word, alama, okay, what are you supposed to understand? Now, you can figure out very easily what the root letters are and lam mean, right? But you don't know the pattern that it is used in, or rather, you don't know the implication of this pattern that it has been used in. So, what are the implications that each pattern or various patterns hold in themselves? Okay, that is what we are going to learn, inshallah, in the end of this section. Okay, so this section is going to be very interesting, to be very honest, because the many of the things that I'm going to tell you in this section, especially various forms of stresses, they and patterns. These two things were the ones that I had to learn in the very end of the textbook and the lecture series. And I believe that they should not be, they should not be delayed. In fact, those things should be taught earlier on so that you know what pattern is being used and how to interpret it. Okay, so that's what. So we are done with our lesson. It was just the type of sentences. Of course, there's not going to be any worksheet associated with this lesson. Worksheets would begin from the next one, inshallah. Okay, so well, we are done with our lesson, and I'll see you in the next one where we are going to study the structure of Jumla Ismiya, inshallah. Okay, till that time, barakallahu li wa lakum fil Qur'an.